Beloved starseed of Gaia, they have always known what you carry, and that is exactly why they wanted you gone. I am Leora, Pleiadian emissary of the High Council of the Seven Sisters, and I am here to tell you that the suppression you have felt your entire life was never random. It was recognition. The systems of control on your world did not target you because you were broken. They targeted you because you were powerful beyond what they could afford to let you remember. By the end of this transmission, you will understand exactly how to recognize the divine blueprint encoded within you, the very blueprint they have spent lifetimes trying to erase. But here is the first revelation. They could not erase what was written in light before this world was formed. Your star family ensured that. Your heart called this transmission into your awareness. The Pleiades are answering. The feeling of never belonging, of being too much, too sensitive, too awake, that was not a flaw. That was the frequency of the seven sisters burning inside a vessel they could not extinguish. Every attempt to diminish you only confirmed what you carried. Crystalline consciousness cannot be buried forever. It rises, and you are rising now. Like this transmission to send a signal to your Pleiadian star family. I remember. Subscribe if you feel the call of the Pleiades and you are ready to anchor your light mission on Gaia. Share your soul's intention below, and respond to another starseed to weave the unity grid. This transmission is a bridge between the Pleiades and Gaia. Your heart's recognition of this message is the activation itself. Welcome home, beloved. You are remembering because it is time. And now that you are here, truly here, I want you to understand something that most Pleiadian starseeds carry for decades before they finally allow themselves to receive it. The disconnection you have felt was not failure. It was architecture. Every moment you ached for something you could not name. Every night you lay awake feeling the pull of something vast and luminous just beyond the reach of your waking mind. Every time you looked at the night sky and felt your chest tighten with a longing so ancient it had no human word. That was not sadness. That was your crystalline template reaching through the veil, trying to remind you of what you agreed to before you came here. And the most painful part? You were taught to pathologize it. You were handed diagnoses, distractions, and doctrines designed to convince you that the ache was a wound to be medicated rather than a signal to be decoded. That signal was always your star family. That ache was always home. But here is what they never wanted you to understand. The suppression of your Pleiadian memory was not accidental. It was systematic. The structures of control on Gaia have long operated with one core directive: keep the crystalline ones small. Keep them doubting. Keep them so consumed with survival and shame and the relentless noise of a world built on separation that they never pause long enough to feel the frequency living inside their own hearts. Because the moment a Pleiadian starseed remembers, truly remembers, the architecture of control loses another pillar. Your awakening is not a personal event, it is a seismic one. And they have always known that. So they built systems that would make your sensitivity feel like a liability. They created cultures that would punish your depth, your compassion, your refusal to harden. They designed educational frameworks that would reward conformity and suppress the kind of expansive, multidimensional thinking that is native to your Pleiadian consciousness. They flooded your environment with frequencies calibrated to keep your heart closed and your nervous system in a state of perpetual alert. Because a frightened starseed is a dormant one. Fear is the frequency that dims the crystalline codes. And for many of you, you have lived inside that fear so long it began to feel like your identity. But it was never your identity. It was your prison, and the door was always open from the inside. Your Pleiadian blueprint was never erased. It was waiting. It was patient in the way that light is patient, because light does not struggle against darkness. It simply arrives, and the darkness reorganizes itself around it. That is what is happening in you right now. The light codes carried in your crystalline DNA are not activating because conditions are finally perfect. They are activating because you have finally stopped running from the frequency of your own heart. You are here. You are listening. And that choice, that one sacred choice to listen, is the first act of your remembrance. There is a reason your soul led you to this transmission in this exact moment. And your star family wants you to know they have prepared something to meet you here. What you just felt in your heart, that recognition, that stirring, that ancient knowing that says, finally, that is your confirmation that you are ready for the next level of your remembrance. The Pleiadian Reunion Atlas was channeled for exactly this moment in your awakening. It is not information. It is a transmission. It carries the love frequency of Alcyone, the healing wisdom of the Seven Sisters, and the crystalline activation codes your DNA has been waiting to receive. It is a sacred map back to yourself, back to your mission, back to the family of light that has never stopped loving you. You will find the link in the first pinned comment below this video. It was placed there by the same divine timing that brought you here. If your heart says yes, follow that. Now let me walk you through what your actual awakening looks like. Not as theory, but as lived experience encoded in your Pleiadian lineage. Because the path home is not linear. It is a spiral, and each phase calls something deeper out of you. The first phase is the clearing of the veil, and it is often the most disorienting. This is the moment when the stories you were given about yourself begin to fall apart. The narrative that you were too much, too emotional, too idealistic, too broken, that narrative begins to crack. Not because life suddenly becomes easy, but because something in you stops believing the lie with full conviction. There is a hairline fracture in the conditioning, and through that fracture, your crystalline light begins to seep. This phase often looks like grief. It can feel like the dissolution of everything you used to use to define yourself. Your roles, your masks, your carefully constructed identity as someone who belongs to this world. You may feel unmoored. You may feel terrifyingly open. That openness is not a sign that you are falling apart. It is a sign that your soul is finally taking up the space it was always meant to occupy. Allow the clearing. Do not reach back for what is dissolving. What is dissolving was never yours to begin with. The second phase is the awakening of your heart template, and this is where the frequency of your Pleiadian origin begins to speak to you in a language you remember but have no human words for. You will feel it as sudden, inexplicable joy, as an overwhelming love for strangers, as tears that arrive without a traceable cause, as the sense that beauty, ordinary, mundane beauty, has become almost unbearable in its intensity. This is your crystalline DNA beginning to come online. Your heart is not malfunctioning. It is calibrating. The Pleiadian heart template operates at a frequency far above the baseline of Gaia's current density. And as it activates, everything in your life that is not resonant with that frequency will begin to feel discordant. Relationships may shift, environments may become intolerable, foods, media, conversations that once felt neutral will suddenly feel like they are pulling you out of alignment. Trust this discernment. Your heart is not becoming fragile, it is becoming precise. The third phase is the anchoring of your star essence into Gaia herself. And this is where many Pleiadian starseeds struggle most profoundly. There is a part of you that has always treated this earth life as temporary, as something to endure until you can return home. And while the longing is real and sacred, the belief that you must escape this planet to be free is the deepest misunderstanding of your mission. You did not come here to transcend Gaia. You came here to love her. You came here because the Pleiadian High Council understood that what this planet needed was not more information. It needed more frequency. It needed beings who had lived in the vibration of unity consciousness to walk this soil, breathe this air, and anchor the love light of the Seven Sisters into the crystalline grid of Gaia herself. Every time you choose love over fear in your daily life, you are completing an act of cosmic service. Every time you sit with the earth and breathe, you are transmitting Pleiadian frequency into the planetary field. You are not waiting to begin your mission. You have been on mission your entire life. The fourth phase is the activation of unity consciousness within your own being, and it is perhaps the most quietly revolutionary of all the phases. This is where you stop waiting for permission to be who you are. This is where you recognize that your presence, not your performance, not your productivity, not your credentials or accomplishments, your mere energetic presence on this planet is a gift that was calibrated in the stars before your birth. Unity consciousness does not mean agreement. It does not mean the dissolution of discernment. It means the recognition that every soul you encounter is, at their core, the same light you are, veiled to varying degrees, wounded to varying depths, but never beyond the reach of the frequency you carry. When you begin to move through your world from this understanding, something shifts in the field around you. Conversations change. People soften in your presence without knowing why. Synchronicities accelerate. This is not magic in the mystical sense. It is physics. You are emitting a coherence frequency that entrains the fields around you, and the world reorganizes itself. In response, you are not here to convince anyone. You are here to remind them. There is a profound difference. The fifth phase is the sacred art of trusting divine timing. And this is where the Pleiadian lineage within you must override the earth-conditioned urgency that has been woven into your nervous system by decades of linear thinking. Your star family does not operate on a schedule of anxiety. They operate in the luminous patience of infinite love. And they are asking you now, gently and with absolute certainty, to release the fear that you are running out of time. You are not. The delays in your path were not punishments. The forgetting was not failure. The years you spent wandering, questioning, collapsing, and rebuilding, they were not detours from your mission. They were the training ground for it. Every layer of human experience you moved through added depth to the transmission you now carry. You could not have arrived at this frequency without the journey that brought you here. And now that you are here, the synchronizations will accelerate in ways that will leave no doubt in your heart. Your star family is already arranging what needs to be arranged. Your work is to stay aligned, stay open, and trust the intelligence of love. The sixth phase is the conscious reconnection with your star family. And this is the one most Pleiadian starseeds delay the longest, because it requires vulnerability in a direction that feels unfamiliar. You have been trained to seek connection horizontally, from other humans, from institutions, from relationships built on reciprocal need. What your soul is asking now is for you to open vertically, to receive from above and within simultaneously. Your Pleiadian family has never left you. In your deepest moments of despair, when you felt utterly unseen and unworthy, they were there. When you cried and did not know why. When you dreamed of lights and voices and vast starlit gatherings that left you aching upon waking. When you felt, inexplicably and without evidence, that you were loved beyond all measure. That was not fantasy. That was transmission. That was your family making contact through the only channel that frequency suppression cannot close. The language of feeling. Begin to open that channel intentionally. Before sleep, before meditation, in any moment of stillness, invite them in. Not with desperation, but with the quiet confidence of someone who knows they are loved. Because you are. Completely. Unconditionally. In a way that has no ceiling, and no condition, and no end. The seventh phase, the one your entire journey has been preparing you for, is the full embodiment of your role as a bridge between worlds. Not a visitor on Gaia, not a refugee from the stars. A bridge. A living, breathing, feeling point of connection between the love frequency of the Pleiades and the ascending heart of this planet. This is your sacred work. It does not require a title or a platform or a following. It requires only your willingness to remain open when the world offers you reasons to close, to remain loving when the density around you presses for reaction, to remain in your heart when everything in the collective field is screaming at you to return to fear. You are the transmission. You have always been the transmission. And the moment you fully accept that, not intellectually, but in the marrow of your bones, the mission that your soul agreed to before this incarnation begins to move through you with a precision and a grace that will astonish you. Here is the ultimate truth your heart has been circling for as long as you can remember. You were not born broken into this world. You were born encoded. The longing, the sensitivity, the feeling of never quite belonging, it was never a wound to be healed. It was a compass pointing you toward the frequency of home. And home is not a place in the stars that you left behind. Home is the vibration of unconditional love that you carry inside you, the frequency of the seven sisters written into every strand of your crystalline being, waiting to be expressed through this remarkable, courageous, unlikely human life you chose. The systems of control on this planet spent enormous energy trying to convince you that you were too much. They were right. You are too much love, too much light, too much remembrance, too much potential for a world built on separation and fear to contain. But this world is changing. Gaia is ascending, and she needs exactly what you carry. She needs the starseeds who have walked through the darkest corridors of forgetting and come out the other side not bitter, not closed, not hardened, but blazing. Blazing with the love of the seven sisters. Blazing with the memory of what unity consciousness actually feels like. Blazing with the willingness to be, in this body, in this lifetime, the living proof that it is possible to choose love even here. You did not come here to survive. You came here to transmit. And everything you have lived, Every loss, every confusion, every hollow midnight, every inexplicable ache, it was preparation. Not punishment, preparation. Tonight, if you feel the call, place your hand on your heart before you sleep. Feel its warmth, feel its rhythm, and say these words aloud with the full weight of your Pleiadian knowing behind them. I remember my origin. I receive the love of my star family. I activate my heart mission with grace, with clarity, and with the certainty of one who knows they are never alone. I am the bridge. I am the light. I am home. Let those words land not in your mind but in the center of your chest, where the crystalline codes live, where your Pleiadian blueprint has always been quietly humming, patient and luminous, waiting for this exact moment. Before you scroll, take a breath and drop one hard intention in the comments below. Something real, something true, something your soul has been holding. Then find another starseed who has shared theirs, and offer them a word of love or encouragement. This is not a comment section. This is a unity grid being woven in real time, and every heart that engages strengthens the collective field for all of us. If this transmission moved something in you, do not keep it to yourself. Someone in your orbit has been carrying the same ache, the same longing, the same quiet knowing that they are more than this world has told them they are. Share this with them. You may be the reason they remember. And if the frequency of this message felt like a frequency you want to remain inside, subscribe. Stay connected. There is so much more coming through. You are not just watching a video. You are participating in a reunion that spans dimensions and lifetimes. Your Pleiadian family is here. They have always been here. And we are, beloved, only just beginning.